Welcome to the installation video of the Aries Jeep heavy-duty spare tire carrier for Jeep Wrangler. This tire carrier comes in a carbide black powder coat finish. Start by removing the spare tire from the factory carrier. Open the rear door to access the electrical enclosure. Use a flat blade screwdriver to remove the plastic vent cover. Once the cover is removed, disconnect the third brake light wire harness from the quick plug on the vehicle's electrical harness. With the plug disconnected, close the door and locate the plastic grommet securing the harness to the door. Remove the grommet and pull the wiring harness and plug from inside the door. Now, use a 13mm socket to remove the 8 hex head bolts securing the carrier to the rear door and remove the factory tire carrier. Make sure to save the 8 M8 hex head bolts removed in this step. To remove the wiring harness from the factory tire carrier, remove the 4 T25 Torx screws securing the light to the housing. Remove the LED light from the housing and disconnect the quick connect plug. This wiring harness will be reused later to connect the replacement brake light. Now, remove the plastic hinge covers to expose the factory hinge mounting hardware. To remove the smaller plastic cover, use a flathead screwdriver or pry tool to pry the cover loose. Once you have removed both hinge covers, remove the 2 hex bolts securing the top hinge to the end gate. Open the hinge 90 degrees and use a T50 Torx bit to remove the outside and 2 inside fasteners securing the hinge to the frame and remove the entire hinge. Attach one of the heavy-duty replacement hinges using only the 2 inside factory hinge bolts that were previously removed. Snug the hardware but do not fully tighten. Close the hinge and loosely install one of the inside factory hex bolts to secure the hinge to the door. This will ensure the hinge is properly aligned with the door. Shift the hinge upward and reinstall the 3rd outside hinge bolt. Torque this hardware to the value specified in the included print instructions. Remove the hex head hinge bolt that was used to align the hinge to the door and open the hinge 90 degrees. Fully torque the 2 inside hinge bolts to the values specified in the print instructions. With the hinge fully secured to the frame, close the hinge and reinstall both factory M8 hex bolts to secure the top hinge to the door. Fully tighten both bolts to the specified torque values. We have chosen to remove the end gate vent cover to better show the wire routing later. However, it is not necessary to remove this vent cover. With help, align the 8 slots in the door-mounted carrier weldment with the factory mounting holes in the end gate. Loosely reinstall all 8 factory spare tire carrier bolts to hold the weldment into position. Do not fully tighten the fasteners at this time, as some adjustment may be necessary to secure the arms to the hinge body. Loosely attach the arms with the provided M10 button head bolts and lock nuts. Snug the hardware, but do not fully tighten at this time. Remove the lower factory hinge and replace with the heavy-duty hinge using the same process as for the top hinge. Leave all of the hinge hardware loose at this time. With the lower hinge in position, loosely attach the bottom carrier arm to the support arm with the second set of M10 button head bolts and lock nuts. Now, fully tighten the remaining hardware to the values specified in the included instructions in the following order. Begin by tightening the outside hinge bolts. Next, torque the M8 hex bolts to secure the hinge to the door. Then, tighten the 4 M10 button head bolts to secure the carrier weldment to the hinge support arms. Followed by tightening all 8 factory M8 bolts that secure the carrier weldment to the Jeep door. Lastly, open the end gate 90 degrees to access and torque the 2 inside hinge bolts. Once all of this hardware has been tightened, open and close the end gate to ensure that it is properly aligned with the latch. Make adjustments to the hinge or latch position if required. Align the holes on the base of the 3rd brake light extension bracket with the holes on the top of the heavy-duty carrier. Secure the bracket to the carrier with 2 M10 carriage bolts and 2 M10 lock nuts. Fully tighten to the specified torque values. Now is a good time to reinstall the previously removed wire harness back through the door. We have chosen to route through the door vent. Locate the tire adjustment plate and determine the best vertical mounting position based on your tire's diameter. The lowest position matches the factory mounting height, and it can be adjusted up 2 positions at 1 3/4 inch increments. In our example, we are using the middle mounting height. Secure the plate to the carrier at your desired height with 4 M10 carriage bolts and lock nuts. Torque the fasteners to the specified value. Locate the spare tire adapter plate. The adapter has 2 horizontal positions. Select the position that allows your tire to clear the vertical third brake light pillar on the back of the carrier. Secure the spare tire adapter plate to the vertical adjustment plate using 4 M10 carriage bolts and lock nuts. Torque the fasteners to the specified values. Locate the supplied third brake light assembly and determine the appropriate mounting height on the extension bracket to clear the top of your spare tire. Secure the third brake light assembly to the extension bracket with 4 supplied M6 carriage bolts and nylock nuts. Now we will connect the wiring harness. To prepare the wires, start by clipping off the quick plug of the factory wiring harness. Make sure not to cut the wires too short. Cut the wire sleeve on the harness back to expose the 2 leads. Strip the end of each wire, including the wire coming from the third brake light. The black wire can be cut back about 1 inch shorter than the white wire. Crimp the ring terminal to the white factory ground wire. Crimp one of the spade terminals to the black factory power wire and the other connecting spade terminal to the lead of the LED. Now, look at the front of the housing to identify the mounting screw that is grounded. Remove the M5 nut on the ground lug. Route the wires through the channel in the bracket. Attach the male and female spade terminals of the black wires, and attach the white wire eyelet to the grounding lug and reattach the M5 nut. Install the LED lens by pressing it into place. It should click into place when seated properly. Make sure to test the new brake light to ensure that it is working properly. With help, lift your spare tire into position over the 3 lugs on the spare tire adapter. Reinstall the factory lug nuts to secure the tire to the carrier. Torque the lug nuts to the values specified in the included instructions. Congratulations on the installation of your new Aries heavy-duty spare tire carrier. For more information on this and other great Jeep products, visit ariesautomotive.com.